Right, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to BWTN Sports. Of course, I'm sure that you've just finished watching the heavyweight battle between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Before I begin my post-fight analysis, congratulations to Tyson Fury. He has proven to be the premier heavyweight in the world without a shadow of doubt. So I'll pop that right there. Let me do this as well, because I really don't want a background today for this one. I'm actually preferring these nights these days to just do things without a background, to flip the background. Right. I'm glad I didn't make a prediction for this fight. I'm so glad, because I'm glad. First of all, I'm glad I didn't make a prediction. I'm glad this fight is over. Probably one of the most toxic fights that I have been involved with in terms of breaking it down or stuff. And also the only other fight I think probably was as toxic was probably when Pacquiao fought Mayweather, but they're for different reasons. It was a great fight between two warriors. Deontay Wilder put on a gallant effort, and I think that he is justified. That stopped him for and put him through the towel in. Now, when you look back, you think to yourself that Deontay could have come back in that fight because he was out on his feet in a similar fashion, and he was able to come back and drop Tyson Fury twice and hurt him again as well before he ended up getting stopped. So, the Gypsy King, congratulations for being able to get off the floor twice and even being buzzed. He was able to get through that fight. A credit to Sugar Hill, because Tyson said himself, without Sugar Hill, he wouldn't have got through that fight. He was giving good instructions in the corner. I heard Malik Scott talking about drills, and you remember the drill we did. You know, I will say this much. Hello, Eugene. Good to see you in the room, bro. And fantastic to have you as a new member. I will say this much. And I will say this much. Almost 2 years preparing for this fight. And I'm lost. I expected more of Deontay Wilder. I expected more in terms of not so much jabbing to the body, but his vulnerability backing up against the ropes. I would have thought that they would have got him in a position where he wasn't vulnerable, backing straight up, that he would have slipped to the sides, that would have worked on that. He looked bulky, and the extra weight didn't have the effect that I thought it would do in the fight. I thought that being bigger and heavier at 17 stone, if he hit Tyson with the clean shots, and he hit Tyson clean, he would have, when he dropped Tyson would be able to get up. You think that because of the extra weight. And see where the weight was helpful to Tyson Fury, it might not have been so helpful to Deontay Wilder, but it helped him absorb the punishment that he was taking to Deontay Wilder has. I've got to give him credit for that, but I still don't understand what they were working on. I'm still baffled as to what Malik Scott and Deontay Wilder were working on. I'm still baffled, because he was getting hit with the same punch over and over again, the looping right hand over the top. And at no point in time did I see an adjustment to that. He just seemed defenses just moving back like a mummy and getting hit with flush right hands over and over and over again. Sure, Deontay Wilder showed you could take a shot, but over and over and over. You know, Malik Scott said stay off the ropes, but Deontay Wilder was unable to stay off the ropes. He said he studied tape of Tyson Fury, but he must see in the second fight and the first fight, well, particularly the ending of the first fight and the second fight, you know, at all times stay off the ropes. Yeah, Deontay came out throwing to the body. That was nice. And what was nice in the fight as well is when Tyson first landed that first clean right hand of Deontay Wilder, he took it. He didn't crumble. For those people who said that Deontay Wilder was a broken man, I saw a man there who was willing to fight, got off the deck on several occasions. And yeah, And they say about reverting to type. Well, Tyson did exactly what Tyson does when he comes at you, you know. So a great fight, an absolutely great fight. I don't want to hear no excuses. I don't hear excuses about weight. I don't hear excuses about gloves, because you know they both gave and took their licks. So I don't want to hear any excuses. This fight, as far as I'm concerned, is done. It's done. Tyson Fury has head and shoulders made himself the best heavyweight in the world, and he's done it. And the best way to win a fight is conclusively by knockout. Questions. I have a lot of questions to ask of Malik Scott, because in terms of the remodeling of Deontay Wilder, the jab to the body, yes, the right hand to the body, yes, but where was all that stuff on the pads? We slipping inside and do to the body. I didn't see any of that dynamic stuff. What I saw tonight of Deontay Wilder, he seemed slow and clunky. On the videos, he seemed very quick and sharp, and he's throwing them body shots in. I didn't see any of that stuff. I saw the jab, the awkward-looking jab to Tyson's body, but that was about it. And there were certain bits, you see, where Deontay was able to catch Fury with a straight right hand. That was his best shot, that straight right hand through the middle. He kept trying to lunge with his overhand right. I think himself, why did Malik say to him, listen, you're successful with that straight right hand. Stick with that straight right hand. Blind the jab, and you look how he caught him, like I spoke about on the video, blinding him and then throwing the right hand straight down the middle. That's the shot. There and there, blind him. So you blind him with it, you blind him there, and you throw the right hand straight down the middle. And you saw that punch work. I didn't understand why Malik, the things that were working well for Deontay, he seemed to go back to this sort of throwing these wild punches. I get it, because that's the part of the way that he flows. That's the part of the way he works. But there was a lot of stuff that Tyson was doing reminiscent of the first fight. The first fight was more like, the third fight was more like the first fight, which is what I thought would happen. But again, I still don't understand what Malik Scott and Deontay Wilder were working on. I don't understand it. He just looked slower to me. Slower with a jab to the body. Wait, hold on a second. I'm afraid, my friend, that this is not the energy that I want tonight. So you're going to have to leave. Sorry, that's not the energy of tonight. It's not the energy. And don't care how long you've been on this channel. That's not the energy. I've not come up with the energy. Don't start the energy up again, because I'm not interested in it. I'm not interested in Glovegate, Watergate, this gate, that gate. If Fury and Wilder want to take it, that's their business. As far as I'm concerned, I am personally done with that issue of things. Tyson Fury is the #1 heavyweight in the world, barring Oleksandr Usyk. So, you know, I want to see that fight go ahead now for the good of the heavyweight division. Yes, I'm not interested in getting into little spats about that. If you want to do that, take it to another channel and talk about LDBC idiots and Glovegate. You know, it is what it is. All we want is a level playing field. All I want was a level playing field, and that is what it is. I've always been about balance. Throughout what I do, it's about balance. If you want to take it into something else, good luck to you. But yeah, so I still don't understand what Malik Scott almost 2 years were working on. I don't for the life of me, I don't get it. I don't know what Malik was teaching Wilder, because I'm lost. I'm absolutely lost. I cannot understand for the life of me what happened. I cannot. But Tyson did what he had to do, you know, and that's it. And I said at this fight, I didn't have a dog in this fight because it was so toxic. I just wanted to see the best man win and justice be served, however that may be served with the boxing gods. And I'm glad that fight ended the way that it did, conclusively, a conclusive knockout stoppage. That's the best way. And it didn't put Malik Scott in a position where he would have to stop the fight. That was taken out of his hands and won conclusively by the heavyweight champion of the world. Got off the deck twice. You know, got himself in a position where he was stunned as well. and came back and really did well. So I'm really proud of that. Stephen says he hasn't learned. He learned nothing. Another yes man, as I told you. But what a warrior and what heart the Wilder showed. His ego is too big. He will never learn. Well, I think when you put faith in a trainer, and there were the other guys who were more experienced who could have done a better job, like a Derek James, for example, who I know would have loved to have trained Deontay Wilder. But Wilder made his decisions to have people close to him, and fair play to him. It didn't work out. But you can't fault his heart, you can't fault his guts, and you can't fault his ego. You say his ego's too big, but if it wasn't for his ego, if he didn't have an ego, he wouldn't have got off the deck to make it the exciting fight that he did. So I don't agree with your thoughts on the ego thing, but that's neither here nor there. I've heard a good point before. How can Wilder respect Malik when he took his best and stretched him out? Would there be respect for his knowledge? I'm not sure. But I think I addressed this and I spoke about this, about the sort of things that Wilder fans may not want to hear. So I did talk about that at length. And I did talk about Malik Scott, the relationship between Malik Scott and Deontay Wilder. I talked about it at length on one video. So I'm glad I covered all areas of the fight, Wilder, or just covered Fury. I covered all areas. I even covered what would happen if Fury lost, what would happen if Wilder lost, the relationship between Wilder and Malik Scott, what kind of relationship that is. And that was one of the questions I asked. So, yeah. Congrats to Fury. So proud of Wilder. Fury doesn't seem to grasp Wilder, probably concussed, landing flush on his face. I won't know what's going on. Give the guy time to find you and congratulate. Yeah, probably. He was so concussed he didn't know what was going on. Maybe. No, I disagree. Ego is needed, but when you blind you, it's a weakness. Friend, he wouldn't have got off the deck. That's my answer about that. Courage and heart made him rise, not ego. No, that's ego as well. That's ego as well. I don't know if you've ever been in a fight where you've been dropped or you've been hurt, or you've been in a box. Well, you say you've boxed before, so you should know. Then when you get hurt with a punch, heart and courage are not things that you think about. Heart and courage is not what you think about. It's your ego that kicks in. Your ego kicks into overdrive. You know, so I'm not standing for this. I'm not having this. I've got to get back into this fight. I've got to. He hit me with a good shot. I've got to get him back. That's ego. I've got to get him back. Uncle Bashir is on the line. Uncle, you wanna do a? I'm just doing a live show now. Do you want to jump in? Yeah, do you jump you in? Or do you want to just talk over the? Yeah, I'll bring you in now. I'll bring you in. Pardon? Yeah, I can. I wonder if I can do this. Okay, yeah, okay, all right, fine. Okay, give me 5 minutes. I'll bring you in. Then. Okay, Uncle, I'll bring you in. Hold on. Let me see if I can get this on. Can I bring this on loudspeaker? Okay, Uncle, I'll tell you what, we can do it. Okay, Uncle, let me call you back so I can send you the link. Give me 2 minutes, I'll send you the link. Okay, cool. Right, we're going to be having James Uncle Bashir on the show in a minute. And let me try and get this link sent in. So bear with me a second. I've got to go for this stupid way of doing things now because... so bear with me a second. I've got a really silly way of doing things. I've got to now go into my email, get the link. So bear with me a second. I'm just trying to get Uncle Bashir into the house first. You can't. Hang on. Okay. Bear with me. I'm just going to get Uncle Bashir, and he should be with us in a couple of seconds. Let's copy the clipboard. Let's put that into compose. Oh gosh. Here. Paste. That sent it to me, right? And then, hold on. Bear with me, people. I'm just waiting to get Uncle Bashir into the house. All right, let's get this here. Okay, so let's do this. We need to go to emails. Yeah, so like I said, I'm glad I didn't get involved in all the. I didn't pick a winner for the fight because it's just such a toxic fight, honestly. I'm just glad. Copy URL. And it was better that way as well. Let me see if I can get this now to Uncle Bashir. Right, there we go. And Uncle Bashir, Uncle Bashir. Where's Uncle Bashir? A-L-I. There we go. There we go. Sent him the link. Okay. So we'll just wait for Uncle Bashir to join us. Okay, and while you're doing that, guys, while the legs looked gone very early on, expended too much energy, loading up on every shot. But to be fair, Fury did not look close to 100% to me. Okay. I think, I'll say this much. I think another thing I reckon was a problem for this fight for Wilder was that whole retribution thing. They had all that energy built up in him and saving it up. By the time fight night came, he was probably exhausted from that. I'm not saying he was exhausted fighting. I mean, exhausted by just mentally exhausted. This retribution thing, and they just needed to just be calm about it. You know, maybe he was calm because he was exhausted. Talk to if you having a bad camp. 100% true, my eyes at this point. Uncle Bashir, let's bring him into the room. Uncle, how are we doing?
I'm doing well.
Okay, let's bring you in. I'll take my face out of the camera.
Oh, you don't stay on the camera. You can stay there.
No. I want to come off the camera. I just want it to be all you. So, Uncle, give us your breakdown of what happened.
Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, is a fighter. But to have longevity and stability in boxing, you have to be a little fighter and a little boxer. Deontay Wilder doesn't have any defense. He's just a fighter. He's a fighter with a lot of heart, a lot of will, a lot of desire, but he can't box. And that's a dilemma for him. You know, because he can't box. He has absolutely no defense, and that makes him susceptible to big shots from Deontay Wilder. In fact, from Tyson Fury. In fact, when I'm watching Deontay in the ring, I'm just cringing, wondering when those big shots are going to come past his chin, his temples, because he just absolutely has no defense. And the more tired he becomes,
the more vulnerable he becomes.
The more susceptible he becomes.
Yes.
So that's something that's going to elude him, I believe, for the rest of his career. I don't think he can learn to box now.
I am concerned with Malik Scott. What the hell was he teaching him? Because the only thing that seemed different about Deontay Wilder was a jab to the body. Otherwise, I didn't see any of that.
What did I tell you? It's not Malik's fault. Malik came in the door too late. He came in, he tried to do what he could do, but there was nothing actually that he could change.
What about backing up?
I knew the minute that fatigue set in, that Deontay Wilder was going to resort to doing what he looked just like he always looked. He looked like he always looked.
In some ways, he looked worse.
Yes, and more fatigue. And the more fatigue he became, the more susceptible he became. I told you can't tell. I told you before, you can't tell until you go under the big lights. And I didn't see anything different from Tyson Fury.
No, I didn't either.
Tyson Fury does what he do. And in my mind right now, in my personal perspective, in my opinion, whatever else they want to say, I think right now that Oleksandr Usyk is the best heavyweight in the world today. Because I saw instances where Usyk would have capitalized on Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury can't lay on Usyk. He can't maul and brawl Usyk because Usyk is too smart for that. You know, so in my mind now, if I had to choose the best heavyweight in the world, I chose Oleksandr Usyk first and Tyson Fury second.
Where'd you put Michael Hunter?
I put Michael Hunter third. When he beats Fury, then I'll put him second. But I put Michael Hunter third.
Yeah.
Simply because of slickness and boxing skills. Okay. The name of this profession is boxing.
Yes, indeed.
You can't elude that. You can't escape that. The name of this profession is boxing. Boxing 101. And
I cannot understand. You've got 2 years and you cannot teach a man to keep away from the ropes. Simple. If he kept away from those ropes and prevented Tyson from grabbing and holding him, the referee's doing a damn good job. The referee was trying to prevent Tyson from leaning on him, but Wilde is involuntarily going back to the ropes. I mean, that was just like red alert.
I told you, being a boxer is one thing, and being a professional boxing trainer is another thing. You have to learn how to be a trainer. I was so upset. I was the trainer for 7, 8, 9 days for Vladimir Klitschko. He chose me. He chose me in front. It was just me, him, and Jonathan Banks in his presence. And he said that I've just lost a trainer. And so, Bashir, you're the most experienced guy in my camp right now, so I want you to be my trainer. And then 9 days later, he came back. He says, "Oh, I something came to me in a text message, in a phone call, and saying that Emmanuel said that he wanted Jonathan Banks to be my trainer. So I'm choosing Jonathan Banks." And I was so upset about that because I had waited so long for my opportunity to be in this position, to be in a position with the heavyweight champion. I had trained Shannon Briggs and Jamil McCline and Maurice Harris and those kind of guys. But I had never trained the world champion. And I had waited so long. I had labored so long to be in that spot. So I got upset about it, I got upset. And I said, what? Jonathan Banks was 29, 30 years old when he got that job, He said, yeah, I got a call or I got a text message or whatever the case was. I don't know. I can't remember what it was. But I was so upset about it but one thing I thought to myself, I said, how can you replace a personality over longevity and experience? I had longevity and experience. To this day, I don't think Jonathan Banks is 40 years old yet. If even 40 years old, so you figure 50, 60, 70, I'm 70 years old. So 50, 60, 70, that makes me 30 years older than me. Okay, older than him. And then I've been training boxers professional fighters since 1970. So what is the logic in you choosing Jonathan Banks? So yes, quite naturally, I got upset about it. But I took it on the chin. I said, okay, if that's what you want, if that's what you want, then go ahead. Because I also understand that if a boxer is comfortable with a teaching from a specific person, then okay, I got to go with that. But I still had a difficult time digesting that. I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I don't think nobody would like it. I think if a person was selling oil, if a person was working in a telephone company or selling paint, they wouldn't have appreciated somebody else coming in, superseding them, and they 20, 25, 30, 35 years younger than him. Yeah, I didn't like it, you know. But I bit down. I said, okay. And then, you know, I came on later on. God said, for your patience, I'll give you Usyk. So I think that in my mind now, that Usyk is the premier heavyweight in the world today. I would think so. I would embrace him as the premier heavyweight. Other people would say, "Oh, Tyson Fury will beat Usyk. He's a big guy, and this and that, this and that." But I'm choosing Usyk for specific reasons. I think that Usyk is the uno numero heavyweight in the world today. Unless Joshua can prove me wrong in his attempt to give Usyk a loss.
Okay. So Steve Pemberton says this. Check this out. He goes, the reason you cannot understand why Wilder is because he's full of ego and he won't listen. What's your thoughts on that, Uncle?
Say what you just said again.
Says Steve says it. The reason why I can't understand Wilder is because he's full of ego and will never listen. That's why he hasn't improved. That's why he's doing the same stuff, because he doesn't listen.
It could or could not be. I really can't put my finger on it, you know. But in order for anybody to grow in any venue, you could be selling peanuts on the streets. Unless you're susceptible to learn from the people who came before you in that particular venue, then how can you learn? You got to strip yourself. You got to strip yourself and say, look, I don't know. Teach me. I don't know. Teach me. Anthony Joshua is there with all these buffoons. And I'm not saying that arrogantly. I'm not saying that disrespectfully.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're saying for, Uncle. It's true. It's true.
I'm saying you're there with guys that failed you in this Ruiz fight and failed you in the Usyk fight. So, okay, what are you doing still with them? You give them, if you're so loyal to them, give them some money. Say, here's some money for you, but I have to go on and I have to get a teacher. I got to get a teacher. I'm not sure that I can teach Anthony Joshua now, because Anthony Joshua has had some successes, and I don't know whether Anthony Joshua would be able to sit down and embrace what I'm trying to teach.
Mm-hmm. He'd rather sit down and watch it on YouTube or ask Andre Durrell to come in and help him. Tells you level of understanding.
Andre Durrell is still training, still boxing.
Exactly.
You know, he knows what's good for his perspective. But I'm a trainer. Andre Durrell is a boxer. And until Andre Durrell, just like Malik Scott, just like Jonathan Banks, until they kiss the boxing goodbye and say, "Oh, I'm a trainer now," then they have to get in the trainer's lane and learn how to be a trainer. There's much to learn about boxing, and it goes further. Just the fact that I've been a boxer.
Mr. Pemberton, say one word to you: metaphysics. Studying it for almost 30 years of my life. Metaphysics. Numerology is just a part of it.
What's metaphysics? What is that?
Uncle, that's the, we'll talk about it another day, another time. Metaphysics is really the study of the things that are beyond this sight of the eyes. It's like stuff like numerology and spiritual consciousness, that sort of stuff.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
Well,
when you get punched in your mouth, the last thing you think about is metaphysics.
I totally agree with you, Uncle. This is why I mentioned about this earlier on. I said to him that about a fighter.
Look.
Ego,
We talk about
egos. Hold on,
all
Uncle.
right, listen.
Talking egos. Hold on, Uncle. Hold on. Let me explain myself. We're talking about egos, and I said that ego is a thing that drives you past fear. But Steve is saying too much ego. Too much ego is dangerous in boxing. I'm arguing, saying, well, how can you have too much ego as a boxer? Ego is what drives a fighter. What are your thoughts on that? Mixed with discipline, may I say. Go ahead, Uncle.
Look, some fighters have egos. Some fighters don't have egos. Some fighters are modest. Some fighters are braggadocio. You know, it's all playing into the same thing. And you need that. Sometimes you need that. Sometimes you need that kind of ego to get you up. You have different personas. Different personas are fed by different entities. You know, different personas are fed by different things. So, the guy got that kind of egos. Okay, go ahead. I don't think that is bad, because different things is what spurs different fighters on.
So Steve's thing is he thinks that.
But metaphysics. I don't want to get deep. I don't want to.
Uncle. But Steve's point is that he thinks because of Wilder's ego, he can't learn. And I'm saying to him, because of that ego, he is who he is as a fighter. So if you take that ego away from Wilder, he's not the same fighter. Your thoughts?
Exactly. I feel the same way.
Okay.
I was just getting ready to allude to that.
Yeah, you take your ego away, it's not.
Different things spurs different fighters on.
Yes.
You can't take that away from them. That's part of who they are.
That's who they are inside the ring.
I do think he should have shook Fury's hand and say, "Hey, good fight. You won the fight. Good fight." And he didn't do that, you know. And that I don't like that. I don't like that. I think that you've got to, maybe when he cools off a little bit. But this is a sport.
Yeah.
This is a sport, and we've got to make a presence for the guys that's coming behind us. This is a sport. You know, you shake hands, say, "Hey, man, you got off, you won." I'm not happy about it, but you won. You know, it'll be another time. I think
Uncle, he got hit with so many punches. Do you think he may have been so concussed in the corner?
He doesn't have no defense. Listen, the things that him and Malik Scott should have worked on was some damn defense. He got no defense. The man don't got no defense. He got no damn defense. No defense.
His feet. I said footwork was the key to this fight, and footwork ended up being the key to this fight.
What footwork?
He didn't have any footwork, and I said the guy that gets his back touches the ropes is the guy that'll get beat. Look what happened.
Oh my God! The guy was, rocket ships was going past his chin, 60, 70 miles an hour. Rocket ships, airplanes was going past his chin, and he was just wobbling out of the way. I said, "Oh my God!" The guy had no defense. His hands wasn't up. He was vulnerable. So all of that's what I was telling you. Yeah. That's what I was telling you throughout all of our interviews up until the fight.
Yeah.
I said, you can't tell until the big lights come down. When the big lights come down, that's going to tell the true essence of what they learned.
Mm-hmm.
And the guy had no defense.
Yeah, but he didn't have the footwork to get himself in and out of trouble anyway.
Oh man, oh my God.
He's moving straight back with his chin in the air like a giraffe.
he's very, very, very fortunate that he didn't get hurt. Because Tyson Fury was sending rocket ships past his chin, and they were missing.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. I think, in my mind right now, if I had to choose the best heavyweight in the world right now, I would think the best heavyweight in the world was Oleksandr Usyk. And I'm not telling nobody why. I'm not going to explain why I think that. I just, because, like I said, the game is to be sold and not told. Oleksandr Usyk, in my mind, is the best heavyweight in the world right now. All right? And I know there's people out there saying, well, why you said that? I don't want to give all of my knowledge away.
Uncle, does Usyk look good because Joshua boxed to the terribly wrong game plan and had a bunch of buffoons in his corner? Or is Usyk just that good? Or was it a bit of both?
Hey, I certainly that Usyk has got to, Joshua's got to get rid of the people in his corner. He's got to fire them. He's got to give them some money. If you're loyal to him, okay, hey, I got nothing against that. Give them some money and say, here, take this money and go away. I got to get a teacher.
And as for Deontay, would you do the same with Deontay Wilder?
And you know what? And look, I've got to get a teacher, so go away. And I don't think that my saying that I probably would be the best teacher for him, because if I'm not the best teacher for him, I think that I'm only in a small circle of other trainers that he can choose to train them. And when I say a small circle, I mean maybe
Very
4 or
small.
5 trainers in the world that's capable of going out and teaching him the proper way to box.
Of course, you've trained Usyk, so you'd be the number one guy to pull it into camp.
Well, not just because I trained Usyk, but because I trained other fighters, aspiring fighters.
Sure. But obviously,
Shannon Briggs and Jamil McCline. You know, Jamil McCline might have arguably beat Chris Burr for the heavyweight championship, but he didn't get the decision. You know. So I mean, arguably, I might be better suited. But the people that's out there now and boxing now, they embrace trainers for the wrong reasons.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about that other kid tonight, Berlinger. I saw him drop tonight.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you about Berlinger? What did I tell you about him?
And he got a good boxing lesson. That kid was spanking him. That kid was boxing him. So I see now that when Berlinger when he sees good, experienced boxers that's not afraid of him, he's going to have some problems.
Could see it coming. I saw a clip of him sparring, getting dropped in sparring. I met Berlanga actually when he was still with Evander Holyfield on Holyfield Real Deal Promotions, and did an interview. So when I first came across him, I said, this guy's got some personality and he's got a bit of punching power, but can he add anything more to that? And then I saw him in sparring get dropped by the punch he got dropped by wasn't much. It was a very soft punch. You could see the word punch, and he just fell down. For, you know what, this guy's got he's got some durability issues.
Well, you know, there's soft punches and there's sharp punches. All right, there's soft punches and then there are sharp punches.
Mm-hmm.
That's why a lot of times when I'm working with boxers, I'll tell them take some of the power off the punch and go for speed and accuracy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a wise thing to do. That will set up the big punches. Speed and accuracy will set up the big punches.
F.A. Jagba, I said, was a big waste of space. I actually think that guy is, I don't know if the word's gun shy or he got knocked out in sparring or had a bad experience, but he doesn't see the same fight.
I didn't see the fight. What happened with that?
He just followed him around the ring and he got dropped. Jagba followed. Sanchez around the ring, and Sanchez just moved off the ropes, nice and slick, and Sanchez is going to be a problem.
Did he beat a Jagba?
Yeah, he dropped him as well. He beat 1 point.
I said that. What I tell you? What I said?
Yeah, Jagba. I didn't rate Jagba anyway.
Frank Sanchez beat him, right?
Yeah, I never rated him anyway. Never rated Jagba.
He boxed him.
Yeah.
I said the same thing, that he would box him.
And Kownacki got his ass beat up again. Kownacki got beat up again.
He got knocked out?
They stopped the fight. He was just taking too many punches. His eye got swollen up and just got beat up. And the ref said, I've had enough. He actually got disqualified because he was throwing low blows.
He got stopped again.
Yeah. Disqualified.
Yeah, I think, just like I said, everything I said came true.
Yeah.
And I know Anderson won, right?
Yeah, he knocked out that Russian dude. Who was, I
What
don't know
round?
what he was doing. I think second round. He was just a big.
Okay.
I don't know where they got that guy from. I don't know where he got that guy from. But he's good. He looked good, Anderson.
Okay. I got the hat trick then. So Adam Kownacki got stopped in what round?
He's finished. I think it's the 7th round. He didn't stop. He got disqualified, but he was going to get stopped in that 7th round. I think it was. But
he got disqualified. What he was doing? Hitting low.
Sorry, blows. Yeah, he threw out 2 already, and I think the eye was shut anyway. I think the referee was just getting an excuse to get rid of him because he was getting beat up in there really badly.
I wouldn't have never took the fight. I don't understand the reasoning behind why they took that fight.
I can't understand it either, Uncle. I can't understand it either. I have no idea.
Okay, so now would you tell me that Adam Kownacki has been reduced to a good gatekeeper?
I wouldn't even call him a good gatekeeper, but I never rated him in the first place. I never thought he was that good. Round 6 to 5.
And the Jagba got exposed as just being an ordinary plotter. That's just a puncher.
But I don't know if he got exposed or Jagba's got some psychological issues, I think. I don't know if he got knocked out in sparring or something, because he just looks like he doesn't look like the same guy. I don't know what it is. Maybe he's stepping up in levels, or maybe, I don't know. He just looks completely off. He's a guy I think Jagba's a guy I think that should retire. You know who he reminds me of? There was a guy who used to train with Joseph Parker. I think he was Nigerian or heavyweight. And he got knocked out by. I can't remember who he got knocked out by. I can't remember. But I said after he got knocked, I said this guy should never box again. He went and retired. Jagba's gonna have to end up retiring because he doesn't fight like a guy who wants to. He's got no passion about him.
He's just a big, strong puncher.
Yeah, that's it.
And Frank Sanchez went out there and boxed him, just like I thought that Sanchez was going to box him.
Listen, Uncle, Sanchez is a problem. Frank Sanchez is a problem.
Is Sanchez, I can't remember, is he a southpaw?
Is he a southpaw? I think he might be.
Yeah, I can't.
I think he is southpaw.
Because most of the black Cuban fighters are southpaws.
Yeah, he's a problem. He sort of reminds me in the mold of like a Lewis Ortiz, but more skilled. He's a problem, that's Frank Sanchez. He's a problem.
Or the junior middleweight. What's the junior middleweight? Middleweight southpaw.
Lara?
Yeah. Lara.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, this guy Sanchez is a danger.
You notice that the two brothers at 54 and 60, they never say nothing about Lara.
Why would they? Would you? Would you?
They was in the gym. Ronnie Shields was training all 3 of them.
Yeah.
And they never ever say anything about Lara.
Well, why would you? Well, why would you?
If you think you're the best, you need to call out Lara.
Yeah, I'm the best in the world apart from that guy there.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm the best in. Remember we had Barry McGuigan and Azuma Nelson,
Mm-hmm.
and every time they talked about Barry McGuigan, says every time they asked Barry McGuigan about Azuma Nelson, he always had another fight coming up.
Yeah. But I'll tell you one thing. The time that Barry McGuigan was there, he left a legacy. He was a good fighter.
Oh yeah,
He
but
was
Azuma
a
Nelson,
really good fighter, Barry
yeah,
McGuigan. Azuma Nelson definitely was a good fighter, but Barry McGuigan was the real deal. He roughed up the great Eusebio Pedrosa.
yeah, but he didn't
He
want
roughed
anything to do with.
Eusebio Pedrosa. He roughed him up. Barry
Oh yeah,
McGuigan roughed him up.
yeah. What do you think
And
of AJ?
Pedrosa was a great fighter.
Yeah,
He
he
was
was.
a dirty fighter. He fought a lot of. He used a lot of dirty tactics, but he was a tough guy.
Mm-hmm.
He got
Mm-hmm.
20 title defenses,
Mm-hmm.
21 title defenses.
Yeah, McGuigan did well, but he never wanted any part of Azuma Nelson, not even to sit down and have dinner with him.
What does this guy write in here?
He wants to know AJ versus Wilder next.
Huh?
AJ versus Wilder next. I don't want to see that. Wilder knocked AJ
AJ got
out.
to straighten this thing out with Usyk first, you know.
Yeah.
Wilder versus AJ. Wilder versus the winner of AJ versus Usyk.
Okay.
I'd like to see that. Again, you got AJ and Wilder fighting 5-6 years past their prime, or at least 3 years past their prime. Excuse me.
You'd say they're
They
both
should have
damaged
fought,
goods now.
they should have fought 2-3 years ago.
Yeah, they're both. I would say they're both damaged goods now. Both guys.
They're both damaged goods, big time.
And they both could have had decent trainers in their corner, but if both of those guys had world-class trainers, could you imagine what they could have been today?
People latch on to trainers for stupid reasons. You know, stupid reasons. People buy Louis Vuitton, Prada, Gucci. Okay, so if I got some money and I go out and make some handbags and something, what make your product better than my product? You understand? We latch on to people for different reasons. Somebody says, "Oh, I want to go with Emmanuel Stewart." Emmanuel Stewart is a human being.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I want to be with Gil Clancy, Angelo Dundee. They're human beings.
Yeah.
What makes them any different from a person who's invested their life in boxing or invested their life in the mentality of boxing? So what makes one different from the other? Advertisement.
And not only advertisement, yes, and there's some boxers who just don't know what they need. Like, for example, if you've got defensive issues, oh no, you've got your defense is questionable. Why would you go to attacking coach? You surely want to go to a coach that's going to teach you defense, right? Because attack is what you're strong in.
That's what I say. Most boxers don't invest in their own mentality, their own career mentality. They go with the status quo. Why do people go to Teddy Atlas or Freddie Roach? Because they're advertised. These are advertised and they're shoved down the throat of society. So I'm going to go to him because he's going to make me a better. No, sir. No, ma'am. You make yourselves a better trainer. because you listen and you believe in the trainer that you've chosen. Nobody, no trainer can make you a better trainer. You invest in yourself, and you are the ones who make you a better trainer, a better fighter. But the status quo is that, oh, they'll put somebody on the billboard and say this person is the best trainer.
Mhm.
One time they were pumping Ann Wolf, saying Ann Wolf, or who would you choose, Ann Wolf? And then, well, what have they done? What's their track record? What have they done in boxing? And boxers don't stop to think about that.
Yes, like they don't think about when they go to promoters either. Don't think
No.
about it.
Somebody said, well, I'm going with the so-and-so. I'm going with this person. I'm going with that person. But what have they done? I see numerous people go to Bob Arum, and I'm saying, what has Bob Arum done? So you have Mikey Garcia, Oscar De La Hoya, Floyd Mayweather, and God knows only who else have gotten away from Bob Arum. So why would these guys who became millionaires, why did Mikey Garcia set out 2 years?
It's true.
It set out 2 years. Why? Why did Mikey Garcia sit out 2 years to break the contract with Bob Arum? So I'm just saying, you chose people because of the status quo, because status said this is the guy to go to. This is the best guy to do this, the best guy to do that. You know who the best guy to do something? Your fist. Your fist, because the more success you have because of your fist, what you do with your fist, what you do with your heart, what you do with your mentality, that's what promotes you. A bunch of people could do something with somebody that's successful.
Yeah. Let me give you this question here. Steve asked, could Uncle improve Fury's punches? He still seems to be punch sloppy.
Pardon me?
Says, could you improve on Fury's punches? He still seems sloppy to me. That's what Steve says.
That's one of the reasons why I said Oleksandr Usyk is the best boxer in the heavyweight division right now. Oleksandr is much sharper. His vision, his reactions, his reflexes, his counterpunching, he's much better than Fury.
Usyk versus Hunter in 2022.
Good fight, but I got Usyk winning.
Again.
It's a tight fight. Michael Hunter has the skills, but I don't know if he has the desire and the will. So I chose Usyk in that particular reason. And not because I trained Usyk before, but I've worked around Michael Hunter and Usyk. And if Michael Hunter invests in himself and gets in really good shape mentally and physically, then maybe he has a chance. But off the bat, if my back was to the wall, I chose Oleksandr Usyk.
Okay. Just to close, 2 questions. What was your assessment on Malik Scott in the corner and the instructions he gave tonight?
I think he did a good job. I think he did a good job because he had a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And that's what you want to do with a fragile fighter coming off a loss. All right? You want to give a little bit of this, but not too much of anything. He gave some good directions, said you did this good, you did that good, but you lacked in this area. You lacked in that area. Go back and do this here. So he was on point. Okay. Malik Scott was on point. He was doing different things that clicked in my mind as a trainer. That's my observation. I wasn't looking at him as a fighter. I was looking at him as a trainer.
Yes.
And he was applying himself well. Deontay was just so exhausted and in the heat of the battle, you know, Deontay wanted to win that fight.
Oh yeah.
His desire was to fight to the death.
So then we go back and ask the question about the Mark Breland stoppage. You now think to yourself,
Deontay
why
wanted to fight he wanted to fight to the death.
Yeah.
He was determined to win that fight tonight.
I'm gonna say something to you about Sugar Hill. There were moments in Sugar Hill in the corner with Tyson Fury that reminded me of when Manuscript would talk to Vladimir or Manuscript would talk to Lennox Lewis. The way he was able to command Tyson's attention. What did you think of Sugar Hill tonight?
He did a good job. Sugar Hill did a good job. He did what he had to do to get the fighter's attention and to get the fighter's will. He harnessed it. He rode it just like he was riding a stagecoach with bandits chasing the stagecoach. He was cracking a whip, making those horses run faster to get that stagecoach to get away from those people that was in back of him. So yeah, he did a good job. You know, I respect that. He cracked a whip on him, and Tyson did what he instructed to do.
Tyson said,
huh?
Go ahead. Tyson said if it wasn't for Sugar Hill, he wouldn't have won that fight tonight.
That was good. That was respect. That was respect. That was respect from Tyson to Sugar Hill. So yeah, that was very good. I like that. Not many boxers will do that, but that I have respect for Tyson Fury for doing that for Sugar Hill. Yeah.
So what next for Deontay Wilder, Uncle? Is he finished?
Well, I think he needs to take a rest. He needs to go back and collect himself, but he doesn't need to go out like that. He's only, 34, 35 years old.
35.
You know, he's got, 35 years old. Yeah, he's got 5 more years to walk out.
Uncle, but he's taken so much punishment, though. Those 3 fights must have taken a hell of a lot out of him.
His defense is shit, man.
Woeful.
His defense is shit. He's got no defense. And all the time I was watching him, I said, oh, my God, I hope you don't get hit with this. I hope you don't get hit with that. Because he was wobbling around the ring. And the guy don't have no defense. I don't see no defense. No gloves up, no blocking, no rolling, no slipping, no countering. I mean,
it makes you wonder if Wilder had been in the Klitschko camp and he'd gone into the Klitschko camp instead of gone with Mark Breland and gone with what's his name, Malik Scott, had gone into the Klitschko camp, would Wilder have been a better fighter if he had a Klitschko style setup?
Again, I don't want to undercut my brother.
I understand.
Malik Scott. I want Malik Scott to grow as a trainer. You know, I've known Malik since he was a kid. You know, and I want him to grow.
Yeah.
So I don't have nothing. So I don't have nothing to say about that. Malik Scott got his style. Let's see if he can make that style work. Let's see if he can get Deontay Wilder's attention and make him grow. I want Malik Scott to be successful. I want him to grow. I want him to have a long, solid career as a boxing trainer now. He decided to be a boxing trainer, so I want him to go back with his charge, rest up, and bring him back and see what he can do.
It wasn't a knock of Malik Scott. I was talking about the whole of Deontay Wilder, his career being like the Klitschko's. So the Klitschko's, particularly Vladimir, who had defensive issues, and Manuscript was able to give him a defense. Do you think that could have helped with Deontay or not?
One thing, Deontay Wilder, in my opinion, has no defense. His defense is in the basement somewhere. You know, once he gets that defense together, then he'll have longevity in boxing. But if he doesn't get defense soon, he won't be in boxing. He's just a head and a chin just waving in the wind.
A punching bag.
Oh my goodness, man. I'm scared for him. I'll be sitting there and say, oh my God, pick your hands up, roll your punches. I don't see no bob, no weave, no pull, no. I don't see none of that.
Did you not see Malik do it on the pads of him where he was slipping under stuff and slipping this and slipping that and all that head movement? Where's all that?
Yeah.
Well, congratulations, Tyson Fury.
Listen,
Congratulations,
I
Tyson
said
Fury.
I said it before, and I'm saying it again. The best heavyweight in the world right now is Oleksandr Usyk. That's what my belief is.
But that was a great fight. That was a fight for the ages, Uncle. Come on, that was a great heavyweight fight.
Yeah, it was exciting. It was very exciting.
Would that go down to as an all-time great?
Even though it was a lot of wrestling, and tying up and stuff, it was a great heavyweight fight. But I want to see more of those fights, like those two young men that I sent you in the cruiserweight division. I don't know what their names was, but that was a great fight. That was a great fight. That's what I call a fight. All right. That was a great fight.
Okay.
Deontay and Tyson was tying up too much. There was mauling and brawling too much. I want to see some clean punches, some boxing.
That was half of Deontay's problem. He tied up and want to roll and.
I want to see somebody double jab right hand, hook right hand, right hand left hook. Feint, jab right hand. I want to see some boxing.
You might see that with Canelo and Plant. You might see that with Crawford and Porter, and they're both fighting.
Yeah, I'll see that with Canelo and Plant.
Oh yeah.
For about four rounds.
And then
for about 4 rounds until Canelo starts zeroing in with them bombs, them body bombs.
And then what happens?
And then he's gonna neutralize Plant. And then 9th round, Plant gonna be somewhere in his living room watching HBO.
Yeah, but he's a tough guy. You don't understand. Plant's a tough guy.
Yeah, he's a tough guy. Yeah. But like I said, by the 9th round, he'll be home watching direct TV or some shit.
What about Crawford and Porter? Crawford and
Porter is the fight that I'm living for right now. I want to see that fight up close and personal. That's a good fight. I got Crawford winning the fight, but Porter is a live underdog.
Okay. I think it's a great fight. It's a great fight.
Porter is a live underdog. It's the fight that I'm living for right now in boxing. Boxing needed that fight, and I'm glad that fight is happening.
Is he past his best, Porter?
Yeah.
Because Stacey McKinley says he's got
I think Porter is resigned to being a welterweight fighter. He's too little to be junior middleweight.
Okay.
He's trapped. He's trapped in the welterweight division. So he's going to be the best welterweight that he can be. Because when the welterweight division is over, Sean Porter can go away. He can go back and run it, be a commentator or run his own gym out in Vegas. Porter is a great personality. I like him. And he's gonna try to fight. But I think his longevity, his whole life is gonna be at welterweight.
Absolutely. All right, Uncle.
He's just too little. He can't go to junior middleweight. What is he? 5'6", 5'7"? He's a little guy.
He's 5'9", I think.
5'9"?
Yeah, I think Crawford's 5'11".
Well, they're bigger than I thought they were.
Yeah, I think Crawford, he's 5'9". He's 5'9". I think it's 5'11".
You sure he's 5'9"? I'm
sure he's 5'9". Yeah, I'll check.
Well, if he's 5'9", then he can go to junior middleweight.
.7. So 1.7. 1.7. What does 1.7 mean?
You got me.
1. What is 1.7? According to this, it says 5'5".
What?
5'5", it's saying.
I told you he's a short guy.
But then that means that then it goes 5. I'm sure that Porter's like Crawford's like 5'9". Or between 5'9" and 5'11".
I told you Sean Porter is a short guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he can't go to junior middleweight. He can't go to. I mean, going to junior middleweight, he would have to take too much punishment to get close to any fighter.
Yeah.
So he's a welterweight, and that's the end of his career.
Yeah.
So I think that Sean Porter is going to go out with Bud Crawford. I think he's going to go out there and lay it on the line in an exciting and thrilling, action-packed fight.
Yeah.
And Porter's going to win the decision. I mean, Crawford's going to win the decision, but Sean Porter is going to give a beautiful. He's going to give a beautiful performance. Sean said, I belong here.
Do you know the thing that really turns me on about that fight? It's
Marvin
the fact
Hagler, mind you, Marvin Hagler spent his whole career as a middleweight.
Yeah.
So for Sean Porter to be at welterweight and spend his whole career there, it's not an embarrassment. It's not a shame.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The thing about those two trainers, Bomac and Kenny Porter, they're both talking about having to seek other minds to make the fight. So they know they can't just do the same thing. So they'll be seeking information, sparring partners and intel, and trying to get the best sparring partners in the world and changing the way they do things to prepare for this particular fight. I found it absolutely engrossing, the two trainers talking about.
I think that's the fighters. I don't think that's the trainers.
I think so.
I don't think it's the trainers. I think it's the fighters. I think it's the fighters that's doing it. It's not the trainers. Trainers don't do that. Trainers don't do that kind of stuff. No,
they don't they don't go and look for.
Trainers don't do that, man. Trainers don't do that. I wouldn't do it. Because in my mind, I'm the best trainer in the world. And I don't need no outside help because it's only going to ruin the fighter. It's only going to ruin the...
I'll send you the press conference, or you can look at the press conference when they were both talking about it. Bomac
but I'm telling you, the trainers are just going along with it. The trainers are just going along with it. But in my mind, I'm the best trainer in the world. I don't think there's no trainer in the world that teaches the way that I teach, the mentality that I teach a fighter. And if a fighter embraces what I teach, if a fighter embraces what I teach, there's a 95% chance that he's going to become champion in whatever division that he's in. Yeah. So I'm teaching something from the mind, from the heart, from experience, and I'm combining it all in one. But I don't need another trainer coming in detracting from that. Yeah. I think that another trainer coming in is only going to confuse the fighter. Mm-hmm. It's only going to confuse the fighter, and then the fighter's loyalties are going to be all over. Yeah. So I want to train the fighter the way I want to train them, my perspective, my view of what needs to be done in the ring. That's why I don't allow no talking in the corner. Please don't talk. I paid my dues to be here, man. 52 years I've been doing this here. I don't want nobody talking and interjecting their thoughts. Somebody that's 40 years old, 45 years. I don't need that. What are you going to tell the fighter? What are you going to tell the fighter that I'm not telling him? What perspective can you give the fighter that I'm not giving? And you 45 years old and I'm 70 years old. What you gonna interject? Get the fuck out of here. I don't like that. That's disrespect to me.
I hear that. I understand that.
I never
totally
did that. When I worked with Lee Black,
Yeah.
all right. When I worked with Tommy Parks, when I worked with Emmanuel Stewart,
Mm-hmm.
Carmine Graciano, when I worked with these guys, I never said nothing. What I did was I'd ask them at the end of the day, why did you tell the fighter this? And why did you tell them that? And what reason? I worked with Bill Miller. I worked with Walter Smith from the legendary Kronk Gym. And I got a lot of tidbits from those guys. Walter Smith and Bill Miller. They're dead now, you know. Luther Burgess. I got a lot of information from those guys.
Mm-hmm.
I took a lot of information away from those guys. And I put them in my own book, in my brain. I took a lot of information from those guys and I put them in a book inside my brain. And I know when to use them and I know when not to use them. But I always ask questions. I never interjected when they were, even when Emmanuel was training, I never interject. I never got in the way. I would lay back and then I would make mental note what I need to ask them at the end of, why did you tell them that? Why did you do this? Why did you do that? I'd find out why. I want to know the reason why they were making different decisions in the corner. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I remember one time I got emotional. I think it was Ronald Hearns, Tommy Hearns' son was fighting.
Mm-hmm.
And I got a little rambunctious in the corner. Hook off the jab, hook off the jab. I saw where he could hook off the jab because he was double jabbing really good, and the guy was dropping his right hand to try to block the jab. And I was saying, just hook off the jab. Touch him with the jab, then hook off the jab. And Emmanuel touched me on the shoulder and said, keep quiet. And I cut it off.
Wow.
Emmanuel touched me on the shoulder and said, keep quiet. And I cut all the conversation off. I didn't say nothing else. That was respect.
Yes.
You know, it was honor. It was respect. Emmanuel just told me, he said, be cool. He said, just keep quiet. You know, and I kept quiet. You know, because I figured at that time, I said, well, Emmanuel knows best. It's his fighter. It's his fighter. He's training the fighter. He knows the fighter better than me, so I better keep quiet. So it's a matter of respect and protocol. If somebody is 45 years old and you got a guy, I'm 70 years old. I've been around this thing for 52 years of my life. September made 52 years that I've been training professional fighters. And I've made a career out of it, man.
Yeah.
I've made a career out of this here. So what is somebody that's 35 and 40 and 45, what they going to tell me?
Not a lot, really.
What they think what do they think they see? Do they think they see something that I haven't seen inside these 52 years? No. There's no way possible. And those guys probably had a job and worked a job in those 52 years. I've come home many times in those 52 years and I stuck my key in the door and I couldn't get inside my apartment. You know why? Because I hadn't paid the rent.
Wow.
Yeah, I had not paid the rent, and I stuck my key in the door, and there was a pin in the door, and I couldn't. And then there was a note on the door saying, "For failure to pay rent, you've been denied this apartment."
Wow.
So what I did was I went back to my car. I broke out the blanket and the pillow out of my trunk because I knew those days were coming. You know, it was a song many years ago, and the song said, "Mama said there'll be days like this. There'll be days like this." My mama said. I broke out my pillow and I broke out my blankets and I got in the back seat of my car and I went to sleep. I said, I'll deal with tomorrow when tomorrow comes, if I'm alive. And when I woke up, I dealt with tomorrow. I made some moves here and I made some moves here and I got my door back open. I went and paid the rent and opened the door back up and I was back in again. And then again. 6 months later, the door's locked again. So here's some young hotshot that's going to come in and tell me what I need to do to train a fighter. But yet and still, they're not putting their life on the line. I'm investing my life in boxing training. They got a job. I'm investing my life in boxing training. So the guy at the barbershop, the guy at the beauty salon, the guy that's working on the railroad, the guy that's a bus driver, what you going to tell me about boxing? You can't tell me jack shit about boxing until you come off until you come off that bus, until you come out the beauty parlor, the barbershop, all these other places, and put your life into a gym, a sweaty, stinking gym, training boxers. When you do that there, and you gamble with that to pay your rent, when you gamble with that to feed your children, when you gamble with that to buy your children clothes, when you gamble with that there, then you come and talk to me. But if you're not doing that there, back up, sit down, take a seat, and take note. Because I'm the boxing trainer. I know what I'm doing. Yeah, I paid. So it hasn't been an easy road.
You paid your dues.
You know, it has, huh?
You paid your dues.
Yeah. And now, all of those people, even people in my family, people in my own family who denied me, who disrespected me, who said that, oh, I'm making a mistake, or that idiot, he's around there training boxers, he's not making no money, he's not blah, 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 blah. Now they have respect for me. Because I went on to become a trainer of Shannon Briggs, Jamil McCline, Monty Barrett, Maurice Harris. Those guys put me on the map. And they paid me. They took care of me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So as angry as I might have gotten with some of them, you know, as angry as I have gotten at different times with some of them, I got to give those guys respect because those guys put me on the map.
Mm-hmm.
They put me on the map. And from there, I took off. And now, I'm recognized in the sport. People respect me in the sport. And people respect me in my neighborhood. They respect me. You know, so. I got a shot with Mike Tyson. I got a shot with Lennox Lewis. I got a shot with Vladimir Klitschko.
Sure.
And people respect me because I had that kind of longevity to be with those kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I'm working. I'm still working. And there's no sign, and I don't feel like retiring. I don't feel like going away. I feel like I'm still 25, 30 years old.
You've got plenty to offer still.
Pardon me?
You've got plenty to offer still.
Yeah, I want to do it. I want to do it. I want to dig down and I want to do it. If I can make Vlad Tsarenko the heavyweight champion of the world, then I'll be satisfied, you know. I'll probably keep going, but I'll probably be satisfied, you know. I want to do it. I really, really want to do it. Not for bragging rights, because I want to do it in my heart. So when that young man go through his life, he can say, I was the heavyweight champion. And that James Ali Bashir was my trainer. I really want to do that. I really want to do that. I really, really, really want to do that in my heart. I want to do that. So that's why I push so hard. That's why I'm on Vlad Tsarenko so hard. Sometimes he get angry with me because I be on him. I say, what was that there? What are you doing? No. You got to get this right. You got to get that right. You got to get that. And sometimes he blows up or he said, what do you want, man? I want perfection. I want perfection. At the end of the day, when I look back on what I did in boxing and what I did in my life, I want to look back and say, there's the proof. There's the proof. Vlad Tsarenko, there's the proof in what I've done. You know, I put my heart and my soul into what I'm doing. And I don't want to stop short. I don't want to fall short of any of that. So, yeah, of course I want to do it. But I don't want nobody outside that. You know, some young
Upstart.
upstart, you know, saying, no, it's this, that. No, you wait your ass in line. Just like I waited in line. You wait your ass in line. Don't try to jump to the front of the line like you're smarter than me. You're not smarter than me because you don't have the experience to be smarter than me.
Absolutely.
You got to pay your dues just like I paid my dues. You know, you got a lot of hot shot young guys that think they're smarter than anybody. They're not smarter than anybody else. They're going to make mistakes just like I made mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the mistakes that they're making is thinking that they're smarter than me. That's the first mistake they make.
They'll find out.
What is this? Somebody writing something there. What does this
say? Just talking about the fight and how both guys fought well. But he's doesn't care too much for Wilder's excuses.
Yeah, but I wasn't that enthusiastic about the fight. They were winging punches, they were throwing punches, and Deontay was there to be hit because he had his hands down and leaning against the ropes and stuff. It was an all right fight, you know, but it wasn't a super great fight. It wasn't like a Ali Fraser, you know. No. It was a give and take fight. It was a good fight, but it wasn't a great fight. You know, they just mauled and brawled, and Tyson took advantage of what the opportunities that Deontay presented for him. He took advantage of it. So, I mean, what do you do? You know, what are you going to do?
Fury looked very beatable tonight. Didn't look head and shoulders above the division. That's what Johnson said.
Oleksandr Usyk, in my mind,
is the best heavyweight in the world.
At present, is the best heavyweight in the world. At this point right here, I think Oleksandr Usyk is the best heavyweight. From what I saw tonight, in comparison to what Usyk did with Joshua and what Tyson Fury did with Deontay Wilder, I'd pick Usyk against all of them. And I said this 5 years ago. Now it's coming to full center for me that I'd pick Usyk, Oleksandr Usyk, to beat all of them.
Okay. All right, Uncle. Fair enough. All right. So we'll maybe
have a great day.
I'm going to sleep. I haven't slept yet. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah, I'm going to sleep too, man. What are you talking about? I'm going to sleep too. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go.
I better sleep. Okay, Uncle. Have a great night, and thank you so much once again.
And you notice something?
What's that, Uncle?
No interruptions. No bad internet.
Interesting.
We talking. You see how clear we talking?
Yeah. It might be that vehicle you're in.
What vehicle?
When you're driving. Man. That's why the connection's good.
I'm in my house.
That's why the connection's so clear.
You think so?
Possibly.
All right. From now on, we'll do it in my house.
All right, Uncle. So we might do a revision tomorrow or on Monday.
All right. I look forward to it.
All right, Uncle. Have a good night.
It's a pleasure talking with you, man.
Thank you so much for your time and energy you've put into these whole 2 weeks. Joshua Usyk, and now this next one with Fury and Wilder.
You're my number one guy. Hey man, you're my number one guy.
I appreciate it.
I don't care how big I get. I don't care how big I get. You will always get the first interview.
Thank you, Uncle. I do appreciate that.
Yep.
Yep. Uncle.
I appreciate you. God
bless you and good night. Take care, Uncle.
Yes, sir. Good night.
So that's Uncle James Ali Bashir there once again, giving us a complete rundown tonight. I hope you've enjoyed it. I'm absolutely exhausted. I need to go and rest. So thank you all so much for watching BWTM Sports. If you're a member, you've had a great time to be able to ask questions of Uncle Bashir, and I hope we've delivered for you. At 7:25 in the morning. Been up all night. I should have done a commentary, but I'm out. Have a good one. Take care.